They say commercial, commercial. There it is. Commercial. Just CBD. Pick the shit out of that up. No, I don't. As I say, get the munchies and don't eat great, but overall, I don't eat too bad. See what we got there. All right. They're all right here. There's one. Where are the symbols? Ah, there they are. Annoyed them so I can send that energy out too. Right, good thanks to the directions. I guess I do start with the bowls with the root chakra bowl. Any of those need them grounding sounds. This is every night, give out that blue argonite energy. Let that get in your consciousness. Oh. The sounds are to move and remove. Well, I'm your host, Pontiac, and this is the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am the holder of the infinite sacred ball game created by the Hero Twins. I am also your galactic daddy-o, sitting on his galactic patio and welcoming each and every one of you on my patio from Minnesota to this universe. Thank you very much for joining me. Now, tonight we are drinking on Doc's Duperbach Dunkel. So, pop them if you got them. Smoke them if you want. And join me on this quest to be present and free our minds. So bottoms up. It is cold up here, y'all. It is cold up here. Like shit, 6, 7 above, necessary evil. Oh, thank you for joining. Lorenzo, thank you. PJ, my man. Okay, that's smooth. Conspiracy. What's happening? Conspiracy. Oof. Well, he's definitely sending you energy, brother. Sorry that you're going through all that. Wow. Hey. Lakers over Dame. Oh, Lakers are done. Yeah, you saw the Devontae. Yeah, you saw that with the Suns win tonight, they already made the playoffs. But welcome, Devontae. Yeah. Another night for us to be together. Another night for us to work on things. I applaud brother Super Sly bringing up points on training people being attacked. You know, I think I talked about that the other day. I still scan everywhere I walk. I still scan, size up, look, and I definitely look at what people buy and comparative to their age. But I'll tell you what though, when we left the movie theater last night, my son's 6'6", I ain't really was too worried. He would pretty much mop up the place the way that Batman was mopping up the police. But so it's funny. It's like this is the benefit with hanging with a dude 6'6", 260. And you know, we talked through the whole movie. We was talking shit, you know, telling jokes. Lakers lost to the Rockets. Not surprised. Yeah, I saw that on Sports Center. Tried to break my spirit animal. Not Coyote. Well, you got to put it on the ass. I know earlier, shit, I got to vibrating so high. I started hearing some shit like I normally don't hear it. I was trying to catch where it was coming from because this thing was coming from somewhere, and I thought it was like my body or you know me swallowing shit. Didn't come from that. I don't know where them sounds come from. So you know, great vibrations today. Adam, what's happening? But yeah, we all can get pushed to that point. As I said before, you know, we have to fight, even though we want to cry. I mean, I could never be more than every day, as a saying. As I was talking about the other day, you know, people being comfortable. And can we really afford to be comfortable anymore? Can we really afford not to have a few things planned, few things packed away? I mean, batteries, flashlights, I think these are all practical things. But yeah, like Flashlight said, most people aren't ready for to be attacked. A lot of people would just shut down being attacked. To naturally just defend yourself. And so it's good to be aware. I rarely don't carry a knife. Rarely. And I rarely don't carry a pistol, but I always carry a knife. Almost no matter what I do when I go out, I always carry a knife. And it was an excellent knife movie that I saw when I was young. And so I've been practicing knife sharp. On my other channel, I did a one night of just showing people how to sharpen knives and what type of quality of knife to get. I always usually carry I got little knives. I got little knives I carry. So I got one a folding hatchet. Stainless steel, just as sharp as when I had it, but it's a folding hatchet. So, and I don't think that would necessarily even attract that to you. Just being prepared doesn't attract that to you. A lot of time it repels because, as they say, you look like you just can't be fucked with. And if you move like that, and a lot of times just checking people out, when you check people out, it makes them sometimes act a little different, get a little nervous, just because you can see and anticipate their moves. So, but today, just being positive. Today it feels you can see the days getting longer, and as we go into May and the long days, I think this year I'm the most prepared with the coming long days, and daylight, the time changes this Saturday night. That's very easy. Russell Westbrook, former Rocket. So beating him and LeBron, Lakers. I think just LeBron is going to take the break until his son comes into the league. I think that's when they're going to put him back on center shelf again. Almost kind of what they're doing in football. Trying to let like Matt Stafford, the one veteran, did kind of win at an older age, but a lot of players are still them younger dudes. So I see basketball is going to elevate, just like they did Giannis. They're going to elevate some of them other dudes up. I see this year too. So we'll see. Just to see a progression. And that's the way to look forward to the future of the league. And you see baseball struggling. Baseball still, they trying the international draft, which really means draft over in Japan and drafting. Well, I don't know. South America is included, but probably is international, even though it's not. But they taken away the second series, so that's 8 games taken away. Oh, and did y'all see Carson Wentz got traded? Still guaranteed. What was it? $28 million by the Commanders. Guaranteed $28 million by the Commanders, where he got traded. So you see why the Eagles didn't feel positive having him. And that's why Carson Wentz has bounced around the league. But Carson Wentz did go 21 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. So not too bad. Daylight savings time coming early. Well, first day of spring next week, so it makes sense. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, right now it's not getting dark here until I think close to 6:30, and I'm really. You gonna ask me what I do come May? I'm gonna say pickleball. I'm a pickleball playing motherfucker. And like right now, I got a little bench where I'm gonna start working out more. I took a little break. I got sore and stuff. I took a little break, but I'm still weight ain't really changed, and just working on agility. Carrie D, what's happening? And so it's good to be sound of mind and sound of body, to have that balance. Eat as you get older, eat, take care of things. Like, prime example, cat scratched the shit out of me, but I took care of it. And within hours, well, next morning, it basically closed. I wanted to knock her out, but it basically closed instead of letting it go, not, commentator, man. Black athletes are being enslaved by executives who pay them tens of millions of dollars. But yeah, what's happening? But if anybody that looked at the Ford video I made, and Sly broke that show down last year, Ford versus Ferrari, and it shows how they talked about it and how they fixed the race and really fucked over one of the guy who could have really easily won the race. They made him slow down, take a longer pit, let the other ones catch up, and really by the way the time went, the other dude won, and so they double screwed him. And so that shows you right there they manipulated the race. That ain't nothing new. I said before, the new race cars, they crash easier, it seemed like, this year. I don't just watch the Daytona 500. I watch all these races. It's same thing. Same thing we see all over again. Person winning and you crashing. So, and I'll tell you why a thing that does with sanity and trying to catch all this. And this is what a thing that I wonder if Zach, because I look at Zach reporting on everything. That's exhausting. It's like exhausting trying to break down everything, where everything doesn't really need to be even pay attention to it. I mean, how can you just have emotion and work on everything? That's a burnout to me. And it's like there's nothing you ignore. Because a lot of this shit they want you to see. A lot of these mistakes they want you to see. Even the stuff I report, at times you can see the way they set it up. They keep running the shots over and over and over again. You don't think, but by now they know we make these videos breaking down. So there's benefit for them as well. Publicity is better than no publicity, and extra free publicity is always good, depending no matter what. It makes people talk about it, makes it breathe as I talk about it, as these things have seasons. Season is the type of life. It goes from week to week to week, from week, game to game to game. And it's who got the most. No matter the events. You notice there hasn't been any major boxing since the Fury. That's how desperate boxing is. There hasn't really been any big fights. UFC, people pay for that. I don't really track that heavily, so but you see they still put that out, a lot of the boxing and the heavyweights. Not a lot of attraction. Boxing is the easy thing to ignore. Same thing with baseball. Because that's what and definitely hockey. Hockey damn near died because people ignored it. And so I think in some ways and then people got suckered back in by the home runs. But for a while, people was like, we fed up with you rich people. And everyone does have the right to free trade and free negotiation, no doubt. Hey, what's up, Mr. Lamborghini Leglock? What's happening? Purified water. Can polish sugar? It can. I've used both. The first time I bought, where is it at? It's not too far. Let me see if I can reach without knocking everything over. Yeah, so the first type of I put for water, I bought a piece like this, a raw piece. And the dude at the shop was like, well, you don't want to put that in water. But when I first bought it, I didn't know, but I started putting this in water and it was effective. And then later I learned, and you can use both. You can use Royal Shungite. Now, my book on Russia from Shungite, she tends to think that the Royal Shungite isn't as effective. She tends to push this kind, as being a little more effective and purifying, but I found both work just as fine. Both work just as fine. So, it's I would try both. I would try both. Like I'm going on with this set, and this set's been out for about 3 months. When I should rotate them, but I've had them. This set maybe 2 years, maybe 2 years. So I've been looking at the possibility of getting more of the royal sugite. Um, Now I've had someone say that you can even put a little just black, the powder in even the water for purification. Um, so that was the first time I ever really read about that, it being put in a little bit, because I know you can put it in the soap, so you can put this stuff on your body. As I was making the lotions, using it, it just, I could feel it on my hands, feel the possibility of it, but the ratio of sugite to lotion was something I've still been working with, because again, you don't want just black hands. You want to just be able to put on lotion. But so I've seen them in other lotions. I am watching the Big East tournament. I'm an ACC guy, but the Big East, my favorite conference. Yeah. Up here on ESPN, they had the Big East, the ACC tournament, or channel had the Big East. So it's been channels different. Timberwolves killed Oklahoma City, which I think they got like 4 or 5 games in a row beating them, and then the Suns won earlier. And then the game I just got done watching. Dang, I'm lunching now because I turned to watch the hockey. But that was a blow. Oh, the Utah game. The Utah game was a blowout too. So I got to watch hockey. Vancouver beat. Let's see. Vancouver lost to. Did they beat? Not the Flowers. Montreal. The Canucks beat Montreal. I was at my local crystal shop here in Central Cali, and the owner and employee never heard of Motivite used to purify water. Not Motivite. No, you don't put Motivite in, just sugite. I don't think I've ever said Motivite. I mean, you can make an elixir with it, but I couldn't imagine it's harmful. Ain't nothing really on it. But no. I mean, you can make an elixir with it. I don't know the purifying parts of it. I mean, most crystals, if they're not caustic, you can use. But yeah, I've never heard of Motivite in there. That's the type of elixir. Let me see. I don't even know where to look at here. I had an idea, but I don't know. Never heard of that before. Yeah. uh, the Big East Coast tournament, but it's not good as on ESPN. Okay. Smooth like in goodness. What's happening? Going on 25 minutes. Going on 25 minutes. Yeah. So it's been going for a few minutes, not too long. I'm just still getting warmed up. It's sad that with the Big East and Patrick Ewing and Georgetown, and he had such a bad year, which does reflect having a bad recruiting year. And I hope he gets the life. A lot of times they'll fire you for things, and they lost today. They was a lower seed, but they lost today, which more than likely they're not going to make the NCAA tournament, and they're not even going to get invited because of their record. And this was their only chance, and of course they don't have that good a team. So I hope the brother makes it through. I hope he makes it through, because too easily they want to fire people. So I want to say Danny Manning had like a winning season and a mediocre season, and they got rid of him at Wake Forest. I'm pretty sure Danny's not with Wake Forest. Guys that really did put in the dues. And a lot of times it's a cutthroat business. I mean, there ain't too many jobs where you wake up and your family wake up the next morning and all everybody's talking about on the national news and on all the sporting channels is how you got fired. And you know, they'll show you highlights, even if you're coaching, they'll show you highlights of you just standing there and making faces. And I mean, there's not many occupations that really beat you down like that, where everybody knows. And then even when you put your house on the market and shit, like when the dude here, Zimmer, put his house on the market, I was like, yeah, you know, this motherfucker getting up out of here. So it is that price and that shaming as well. It's ironic. Slide did a live stream tonight. I forgot I had my box cutter and forgot that I cut myself on my job trying to cut a box open. I talked about this before. Like when I worked at Johnson Control, one thing I did is I wanted to learn a little bit about all the sides of what was done, the process of fiber doors. You know, fiber doors is pretty much the German plane during World War II was made out of this type of cardboard, hard fiber board. We well, they had practice doing it because that's how Mercedes doors was made at a point. And so we were making these fiber-based doors, and so I wanted to learn everything. So you know, I had to, you know, as the overall quality control director, I had to inspect it, all the stuff. And so I had to know what my people were seeing and when they was getting these doors, because the doors aren't perfect and they have to sand these doors down. Well, it was where I learned, you know, these was sharp knives because again, they're cutting this type of cardboard. So everybody was cutting themselves all the time. But we had like you could put the glue in you could put a little the dust and put the glue in and you could kind of work it in. And so that's why we had to glue out. But if you cut your shit open, that was the first time I saw people gluing wounds. Like, dude sliced this shit, and he's like, bloop, 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 bloop. Kept going, kept going. And so, I mean, these are just little things that help to know, little cheats. And as I said, with knives, I've trained with knives. Excellent film. I started to talk about that a little bit, but it was an excellent film I watched. And really just some basic things is like with knives, it's just like punching, you know, where you get a stance. It's almost like a punching stance to where you would hold it and defend it. You would still stay on balance, almost like a boxer stance. And it's like one thing they teach you is you oops. Okay. But one thing they teach you is they teach you when you cut, you follow back. Almost like a tennis stroke. You cut and you follow back. Because it's a pattern. And the true knife people, and one thing the true knife people will teach you is you go after arteries. Boy, I was kicking ass there. But you go after arteries. You know, you watch some of the old karate movies that are really knife based and showing knife masters and dudes who just go after with a knife. That watch what they do and watch what the way the cuts are. They looking like dude don't know. Like they were saying, you can cut somebody and they don't know they cut. You can cut a dude in their leg that goes to their carotid artery, and the dude will bleed out and won't even know he cut. And a lot of it is you know, your heart is pumping and adrenaline is moving through your system too. But it's like that's what people that are really knife trained look for. If they're gonna cut you, they're gonna cut an artery to try to bleed you out. Yeah, I noticed when they talk about a coach that got fired, they show the highlights where the coach was making all guys all crazy faces. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what they do. And you ever when they was hitting Gruden with the racist shit, like Gruden is the most racist motherfucker. And I mean, you know, he was a family of dudes who elevated now playing scouts and coaches. You know, the dude from the Rams, them families was intermixed back granddad, you know, family like 3, 4 generations of NFL people. And see they're from the side of executive. Their whole career. They ain't never players. They always been trained to be some type of a coach executive, you know, to be leading it and not told. shoot, what the only owner that played was the dude from wasn't it the guy that played that owned the Panthers that they put that case against? Wasn't he the last owner player? Jerry Rise something? Not the coach at the White Sox, but the coach that used to be at the Panthers. When they fired him, he was ex New York Jet, played with Joe Namath that won the Super Bowl. I think he was the last owner that played. You don't see a hell of a lot of players coaching anymore. It's all dudes who was, know somebody, know somebody, know somebody. That's the way it is. I cut meat off the white meat. It's not as bad as live, but it's long and a deep cut. Yeah, there you go. There you go. There you go. But there's just ways to protect you. I mean, most people just somebody attacking you and you have a knife, just keep them from touching you, keep them from grabbing you, especially if they don't, and they don't stop. Them the parts is, stick somebody, make it go through. You stab somebody in the hand and then, kick them in the crotch. They try to block, you going up and they try to block it with their hand, stick it in their hand and kick them in the crotch. Double combination move. Make them leave you alone. That's the thing, is to get away. I'm a mess tonight. But I think all of us are taking the stress. So many comments on reading the different platforms of the people, the stress from the driving and the people. And think about it. It's like, almost being locked up again where they shut the country down. It's almost the same as we saw this in 08. 08, people quit driving. Public transportation was used a lot more. And so it's almost like the lockdown. But you just can't get up and just cruise $2 an hour. You know how fast you'll go through a half a tank? Around here ain't nothing, this area, my son, when he came, he was a young man. He was frustrated because he really didn't have a lot of city driving experience. And in Michigan, you going through, like, as you go on the highway, you going 94, going east and west, you going by cities. Ain't nothing of it connected like here, where it's just big ass 20, 30 different counties. Nothing like that. It's like different, it's the places are so separated. It's Twin Cities is just, it's a pretty big area. And so everywhere is highway driving. I mean, it's just no way to get around it. You go through one little town and, it's highway driving, all connected to the Twin Cities, of course, but it's a fairly big area. And so now, it's $4 gas. Yeah, people going to be thinking about it. And it's same thing goes for cabs, Ubers. They're all up as well. If they're not, if they're, so, and Uber had already started upping their prices. But I'll tell you, DoorDash is still, price is still kind of staying steady. My son gets lazy, doesn't want to cook, doesn't want to clean, so he'll order every day. And we look at the prices and the deals we get, so it's not too bad. Not too bad today. And it's funny, like basketball will be over. It's like 18 games left. And so it's going to be over, but we're into the playoffs fairly quickly. No, that wasn't the best game. That wasn't the best game. Let me see. Which one did you put? Nah, the best game. Shoot, the game that was better than that was what Larry Bird played when Illinois State played DePaul. If you watch that game from '79, that DePaul team was loaded. That DePaul team would have gave Magic and them a harder time. They had the athletes to match. Larry Bird just didn't have the athletes. That DePaul team did. But Larry Bird was too much for that DePaul team. But the DePaul team, Mark Aguirre, Terry Cummings, the guard, Skip Dillard. I mean, they was stacked. Larry Bird, 38 on them? Larry Bird killed them. And so, I mean, but he killed some stone killers. That was the better game. I want to say that game made overtime, but of the 79, that was by far the best game. And as I said, DePaul would have given Magic and them a harder time than what Larry Bird did. Because the way they just doubled on Larry Bird, he ain't had no outlets. DePaul had dudes. Both they guards, I can't remember who they small forward was. But shoot, they had a stacked team with Aguirre playing. I think he was the small forward. Terry Cummings was the power forward, and I can't remember who their big man was. Skip Dillard and the other guards. Shoot, they had a squad. But Bird, hey Jody, Larry Bird was a motherfucker. That's the better game. I mean, we wasn't surprised. We knew Magic. I mean, they had a good team. They had a real good team, pretty much all rounded team. Big. They had a big team too. Terry Cummings was an animal. Yeah. AD, thank you for joining. Roy Allen, UConn versus Iverson. Now that was a good game. That was a good game. I would say that was a good game. Ray Allen, because Iverson went up. Iverson and them went back up. Got the ball, went back up. It was only 6-7 seconds left. And then Ray Allen did like kind of the side step, a little pump, and hit a little floater off the wing. He beat a good team. He beat a good team. He beat a good team. And that upped his value into the league. That was the first time I really noticed him. Yeah, that was a great game too. That was a real good game. I mean, I watched some good college games. When I saw Western Michigan play, all the players that came through there, I got to watch. Excuse me, I got to watch a lot of good games. As I said before, I watched Bill Russell play in an exhibition game in Kalamazoo at Kalamazoo Hackett when I was second, third grade. I mean, just my people was basketball people. My stepfather was basketball people. All his friends was basketball people. I mean, my one of my stepfather's best friend was my JV coach. So, my whole freshman year, I'm hanging out tough with my JV coach because the high school made the playoffs. And so I had known the JV coach's daughter. She had known me since I was a baby. It's like they lived up right behind my aunt. I mean, it was like backyards, the houses was, and so I knew these people all my life. And so I hung out my whole freshman year was hanging out with him. And then I played with him as a JV. I should have started on varsity. The best game, hands down. That was a good game. That was a good game. I'll say that was a good game. But the game that one of the best game the Fab Fives played where they lost was down there in Duke. And I want to say that first year they had Duke. And I mean, I thought it was unwise that Chris Webber shot the last deep shot, but they was on Duke's heels. And again, they could have made it a competitive game for when they played them, but they was on their ass. And this was early in the season, and they was on Duke's ass. Duke beat them in the end of the game. Lakers getting shamed. Yeah, CWE, what's happening? Did the Ben Simmons type passed up a layup? Well, that could be a show of frustration too. Just don't know that you would show that during the playoffs. I don't know if that's the move to show that frustration during the playoffs. I just don't know if that's the move. So, but I still stick with the another Wilt ritual. I'm still saying the Sixers. I'm still saying the Warriors. Right now, that's what it still looks like. It's going to be a purely Wilt Chamberlain ritual. So. Mm. Okay. And I'm seeing is really changing that. Plus, looking at the way the economy going, and that's things that you got to look at too. Sometimes watching stocks give you an overall view of how business is moving too. So I don't think that doesn't have a part as well. I mean, it's something to always be considered. Yeah. What do they say? Gold, silver and gold. Christmas song seems to have a lot to do with a lot of things. Bulls versus Memphis. Bulls versus Memphis. I don't know. That ain't really drawing what Ali say. You can't make no gate. That ain't gonna make no gate. Ali said, I'm the gate. They all know I'm the gate. But they put boring. You see, they still pushing Popovich because Popovich gonna have the most wins and the most manufactured wins for sure. But all of them are manufactured. I don't think Don Nelson won as a coach. He never won a championship as a coach, but he had the most wins. If not Bulls versus Jazz, they don't like the Jazz. I don't think they want the Jazz to win. I don't know. I just don't think they want them to win. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't see the Jazz winning, but we'll see. But I just don't see that that's what they're going to set up. That they're going to set up the Jazz to win. I just don't see that. They're stuck on 70 all-time playoff wins. Huh. Okay. That's interesting. Hmm. Acknowledgement of Notorious Big's anniversary. Yeah, I think Zach broke that down too. There's a couple people. The other brother broke that down. The one that was talking shit to Zach, he broke down the 25th anniversary of Biggie. Where I've got all this shit put together, got to move very, very, very slow. You see, I made the knife movement, and fucked the shit all up. I put 5K that the Bulls go with it all. Ooh, I'm sure there's some people that'll fade you. I'm not that honest, not that convinced that they won't. I think betting you just might help them do it. If they're pushing overseas, then maybe Djokovic and Denver make it to the finals, and not just make it. Maybe they're not really playing winning basketball. I think they're going to push. Well, I think the final game for the West is going to be Phoenix and the Warriors. That's what I am kind of guessing. Single truth. uh, Researcher, what's happening? Uh, in the preview. Okay. Tomorrow, two. And Warriors versus Nuggets. Okay, could be. Could be. Thank you. Uh, tap in if you for real. Yeah, I'm not that real with that. I'm not that real with that. I'm just saying that too. I figure for my little money. That's what it looks like. I think the thing about the Bulls is they're always good for the rating. We know that they have won it before, but I just don't see them elevating DeRozan over what's his name, the dude from Memphis. I don't see them elevating over him to let him win more than Rose. That's what I was thinking about. Let him win more than Rose. I don't think so. Oh, hey Key, what's happening? I do. Yeah, I do. I try to be positive. Even talking about, protecting yourself and stuff, it's not on a negative thing. I mean, as I said, it is times that people look at certain things and that very thing they're trying to avoid, they kind of draw to them. Now, again, there's magic that can overcome that and the attraction that you're drawing to yourself, but you got to understand that too. As you bring these things out, you got to understand the reverse side of this. He covered the national big anniversary death. Also, he's the one of the talk shit about Zach. Oh yeah, that brother. Simple Truth or some shit like that. Second title to the 50 of the 71 finals. Bucks won. Yeah, yeah. And that was Kareem's second year. They won their second year. And they should have won in 74. They had the better team, and they had that shit rigged with Boston and John Havlicek. But that wasn't the best team. Kareem and Oscar in 74 probably had a better team than the year they won it. He's the name, covered the national. Okay. Yeah, that's his name, Lorenzo. Yeah. Okay, I'm caught up. There we go. So yeah, we have these definitely these rituals of seasons, and then that the teams that have moved before, you do have to analyze how they'll move present time and what makes the best story. Because that's the thing too, is they're building stories as they put these seasons. They're building a story with the season, and again, the best story is the story that makes the season go on a couple more days because people keep talking about it. Yeah, definitely rigged. Zion going to New York this summer. They're gonna have to do something with him. As I said, that you could see that the dude didn't really know how to run. I don't, that's if you watch some of his early videos, the dude's making fun of him. There's one brother that really made fun of him in California. He made the funniest videos, but he imitated the way he ran, and really, this guy did not really know how to run. Amazingly jumping the way he's jumping, with the way he was jumping and the way he was landing. I mean, you can just see that he was let down in so many ways being raised. Now, a lot of people say, well, they raised him, but you could see, and I pointed out before, there was so much lacking in his game, just so much lacking that they didn't make him a rounded child, and no one noticed the dude really couldn't run in a natural way without sustaining injury. Jumping high, being extremely athletic. Again, players like him before, Adrian Dantley, Truck Robertson, more athletic than any of them dudes. I mean, really, a part of the game that's gone is going to the hoop but not having to dunk on dudes. Just being there to do moves on dudes. Not necessarily alley ooping, just getting by dudes and making moves and not necessarily dunking. He was one of the best at it. I mean, really, he was the best in the league of going to the basket. The one time they let him play. But again, the way he ran, he wasn't going to sustain not being hurt. I think they looked at Greg Oldham and other dudes, a lot of them, especially the 7-foot dudes, 7'1", 7'2", them dudes, big problem, ruining careers. Oh, let me talk about Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders lost 2 toes from complications because, let me talk a little bit about this. So one thing that was a negative about playing on AstroTurf was a thing called turf toe. Now, really, what turf toe hasn't went away, despite them going from the old fields were really made on a concrete slab with a little bit of dirt under them, and they put artificial turf over that. As I showed in my video about old, I think it's Veterans Field or Franklin Field in Philadelphia. They put plywood down over the concrete and put that damn turf over the damn plywood for a field. But what they found is turf, like when you step naturally in grass, there's nothing moving as you're taking your toe out of the grass. Because again, you're pushing against something that it totally gives to your weight. I mean, unless it's frozen, but if it's not just normal, it's just normal field, it's going to give. It isn't going to give anything back. Turf's not like that. Turf is made to, once it's pushed down, to come back quickly. Now, what that gives people is a thing called turf toe. And Deion is probably one of the most popular. And again, when it happened to him, he was older too. He was older when he got it. But it pretty much, when he went to the Redskins, it pretty much took his career but I'm pretty sure he's got complications from the years of having the turf toe. Very painful. I know Eric Dickerson, it kind of ended his career too, if I'm not mistaken. Hey, Reese, thank you for joining me. Biggie Smalls, wow. All 3 brothers go play ball for Seattle. Wow. What's it say? Live from Bedford Stuyvesant. Bedford Stuyvesant. Isn't that where Connie Hawkins is from too? My man Ray Mobley was from Bedford Stuyvesant. I think they both went to Boys High. I'm pretty sure Ray said he went to Boys High too. That was the first time I heard about that area was through Connie Hawkins, his book File. Look up his book File. Great book. I mean, brother got kidnapped. They kidnapped him to make him go back to New York. You know, no extradition, just snatched him and FBI put him in, or not even FBI, New York detectives took him out of one state. Well, him being poor and not knowing his rights, he didn't have to go with him. And it happened so quickly and they did it so slickly, but they violated his constitutional rights. And he never got paid for that. He didn't have to go with him. And, you know, they pressured his mom. You know, he's in trouble with, you don't let us go, you know. But Connie was 18. He was an adult. So they got him on the premise that, you know, they pressured his mama to get him. But really, they violated his constitutional right to kidnap him. So, but the book is extremely expensive now. That's the interesting thing. That book is expensive now. But just the history of how they can take down young men. And it wasn't just him. It was Roger Brown and it was Doug Moe. Because all these dudes was gonna play for the Knicks. And so that better way than not deal with them. Hey, Brother James. Brother Jay, what's happening? Thank you for the kind words. So many. No, I think they took him. He was the sacrifice for the rest of the European players. That's what I think he was. He was the sacrifice for the European players. That's what I see him as being. That's why they killed him. Because they always, you know, have to have somebody to get sacrificed, and they chose him. And he was one of them dudes. Remember, I was saying, them dudes came over, they smelled. You know, these dudes didn't grow up, you know, like we grew up, taking showers all the time, cleaning their clothes. Dudes was smelling, you know, when people get to smelling sour, was about to beat the Bulls. Nah, that shit wasn't gonna change him like that. Nah. Not with him. He didn't make that big of a difference. Yeah, we saw about Deion Sanders. He's missing toes. Yeah, because of the turf toe. Pretty sure it's related. Because he played a few good games for the Redskins. They try to tape it up. But hard thing to beat. Yeah, hard thing to beat. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. He wasn't that great a player. He was slow, just tall. I mean, he had the European game, again, doing the Euro step when it wasn't not as physical. The game over there, it's funny, the game over there is more dirty physical. Used to be more dirty physical than just a physical game, playing physical defense, physical offense. It was a lot of dirty physical plays that was done when you played in the Europe League. So again, the subtle push you know, firm push when you're off your feet. You learn to wait to the last minute to make your jump, because again, you want to feel who might want to push you, those kind of things. Then just good solid hand checking somebody, boxing dudes out, you know, facing dudes. So it's a little different game. So a lot of them dudes wasn't as polished playing in that type of game, and it took them some years to develop that kind of game. That's why if you think about like when Jordan and them played the first game against Tony Kukoc, they played the more NBA style game. So it really was trying to help him. Like they went after. No, they played him to prepare him for when they played with him, with them. And so you see the second time he adapted to that style of play and did fairly good. The second time they played that Tony Kukoc led team, and it was a few others that he played with. You know, countries, Czechoslovakia, Slovakia, that was fighting and shit. But he was one dude too. I say that I'll tell you the sacrifice I didn't get was that Mark Eaton sacrifice. That was like that I didn't get that. And a lot of people respond to that video I made. I say about sacrifice him. Remember, they were during the years of the Yeah, yeah. Vladdy was the same way with Tony. I want to say Petrovic and Tony was from that side. They was from the opposite side of him. Drazen Petrovic scored 112 points in a Euro game. Oh, wow. Wow. That is crazy. Definitely had the three though too. But didn't mean he didn't work it. Didn't mean he didn't work it because it sounds like he definitely worked it. That is interesting. But remember, so did Cheryl Miller scored something like that in the game too here in America against high school women in California. And Nancy Lieberman, I think, scored 100 points in a game playing the half court style of basketball. Because the Iowa way of playing basketball was you had an offensive team and you had a defensive team. And so you never played, so it was half court, basically a half court game. And they say Nancy scored 100 on one of those type of games where, she just got the pass. She never played defense. I mean, her whole time, it was like that game in Europe they play, where they just have the ring, and I can't think of what it's called. It's a type of, maybe a type of even speedball, they call it. But not, it's a little tight. Speedball has a net, but this is another game where they have a ring and they have like it used to be the outdoor play. You see it on our playgrounds. I never knew the game, but they play that over in Europe, and it's the same kind of thing where you don't really have a full court flow. You only play on one side. Nets retired his number. Yeah, Patrick Vick makes NBA Hall of Fame. Petrovic made the NBA Hall of Fame. I'll say this too, though. I'll say this: Petrovic, like you said, his European career too. Whoops, his European career too. So, and how long was his body of work? But he played pro. He probably played pro since he was 14 or 15. Where's this? Cheryl Miller scored 105 points as a high school. Yeah, yeah, it's a high school game. Yep. So I don't know. I don't know that I would have put him in the NBA Hall of Fame. You can pull up his stats, push his stats out. You're right about Zion. When he started to run or change direction, he has to little hop step for slowing him down, transition. Yeah, well, I mean, you could see he's off balance, just really running on a hell of an instep. Yep. Hey Jay, almost every shot is altered. It's hard to watch, man. If the ball picks up speed or slows down, well, and they can move it around too. Shit, they can move the ball around. So I mean, they manipulate it every kind of way. But it gets a point where they don't mind that you see it. So that's why you can't do every shot. That's why I say, some of the stuff you got to ignore. You see it, but you got to ignore it because everything you just can't. There's too much information out there to try to have an opinion on it and try to break it down and say, well, how this is all involved. And it's too taxing. And some of the shit you got to ignore. Some of the stuff is not even worth listening to. It's not even basically good for you to listen to. So that's why every shot, it makes me look silly after a while. Saying that no one, like even just a simple layup. Hmm. Showed that one. But how LeBron passed that game winning layup. Yeah, see, I didn't see that game. They didn't show that one in my area. And I don't have the NFL pack or NFL thing or the NBA thing. Average 19 points. Jumped on me. He averaged 19, 51%, and 40% 3 point. Okay. Over how many seasons? Share how many seasons? How many seasons did he average that? And how many seasons did he play in the NBA? Shell Miller's 6'2", 6'3", ain't he? Yeah. Reggie 6'5", and shit. Reggie said he didn't beat her until shit. He was like, I think she was in college when he finally, because he got taller. But shit, when they was just as tall, she was still putting that work. Because I think when she scored 100, he had scored like his first 40 or high 40 game, and then his sister scored 100. Only played 5 seasons. Yeah. Well, but I'll say this: he played in Europe too, though. So he probably played 5 seasons in Europe. And if you said he had the capabilities of scoring 130, all that, those seasons he played over there all count too. Or you said he scored 112. So all that would count too. That's what the NBA is. I mean, the Hall of Fame is not just pro. The NBA, it's all. So that would be considered too. So I would say, okay, if he played that solid a career, just didn't really see him as a big factor with his teams. But again, 5 solid seasons in NBA, and he probably had more than that playing in the other league. So maybe a closer analyzing his stats in the other league might put him in, because again, it's not just NBA, it's total basketball. Like Connie Hawkins only played 8 years, I think, in the NBA, if that. But he played in leagues from 1961 when he was 18, 19, all the way. He played all in the early ABA, the first couple seasons. And the fact his college graduating class would have been 64, 65. Those years, he had to play with the Globetrotters, and he played in the ABA, and then he went to the NBA. So he only played, I think, from only about maybe 6, 8 years in the NBA. But his total career, being a playground legend, put him in the league. They didn't put Earl Manigault in the league because he didn't really play pro. He might have played Little Eastern League. I guess Manigault was going to play with Utah, tried out with Utah, and they found the track marks on him during the physical. And he went to Hampton. It was called Hampton Institute at the time. My boy Tony Scott went there. Yeah. Their clown is creepy. It's definitely a talisman. It's definitely a talisman. It's got an energy out that's cool. And if you treat things cool, and things have been in kind of a fucked up situation, things tend to if you bring it in how you're supposed to bring it in, and treat it with respect, and make it a part of what lives around you. Yeah, it's definitely a talisman. I've had several things that's like they're definitely talismans, and that's one of them. So it's kind of cool. The detail is great. I mean, it really looks like a witch doctor and shit, little shrunken head and shit. It's like the witch doctor took the little head and shrunk it down and put a little hat on it and painted it up and shit. I mean, it kind of does give off that vibe. A lot of people get the fear with the clown. They put the clown in the sewer. They get the fear of that. They get that energy is going to come get you. It's the dark energy coming out of the darkness. What if it comes to life? Well, it's made out of clay, and I wouldn't have to hit it with too much. Nothing's going to take it being made out of clay. I've got a little bat. Hell, it's like right there. Just pow, yeah, you're done. Take his little hat and shit, and I might play it. So no, it's none of this would ever give me any of that. It works for me. It works for me. That's all. And that's how I say many times to anybody listening, everything in your house should work for you. Matter how you look at it, it's significant. You look at it, if there's something about it you like and you put it in your atmosphere, it should work. If there's something that's not there, not positive, take it out. Because we buy shit that we waste money on, and we later we get a negative vibe for it. So the negative vibe, why leave a picture up that you can't stand? It's just not healthy. Oh, that clown is chilling to me. Yeah, he looks like he done smoked some good shit. And I guess it's the name of it. The theme is nobody's fool, and that's right. I mean, again, it's the movement of the Joker. That's what he represents. The movement of the fool. Because the fool turns into the wizard very quickly. The power comes very quickly in a few moves. So that's why it says it's nobody's fool, because you may play the one on the beginning of your voyage, the fool. But in reality, what was the fool in the king's court? What was the jester in the king's court? It knew all the king's court business. So that's it. So it had to know all the business so it could talk shit about what everything is going on to make the king laugh at these motherfuckers. Like, yeah, I know all this shit, and I'm gonna tell the king this shit in some jokes. That was part of what the jester's role was too. Whoops. Turn the lights off and place it Place the camera, I bet it move his eyes. I mean, if you just stand a few feet from it and look at it, you can feel the energy. You'll feel the energy, the give and take of the energy. I mean, I bet if well, I don't want to do that to anybody, but you can feel the energy. If you just look at the motherfucker gives off some energy and shit. I mean, definitely does. I got caught just yesterday. I was like checking it out. I was like, oh shit, okay. And you can feel the energy coming and going from it. So it definitely has that talisman energy. And that's how you get things to work for you. That's all. Your thought about with the jester. Mm. Never thought about that with the jester. Yeah, the jester was the biggest shit talker. A demon can control it. Nah, shit. Demons be wanting to come here and smoke with me. You know, they be like, hey, we ain't got no problem with you, buddy. Don't come fucking with us. Don't bring that shit you know to come fucking with us. We are cool with you. We ain't fuck with you. So just leave us the fuck alone. I mean, if you want us, come up and tell us what you need to do. But we glad that you leave us alone, so we leave you the fuck alone. That's to me a good situation to be in, cause they ain't got no reason to fuck with me. Thought about. uh, yeah, they do give off energy. Yeah, you bring in the house. I mean, you definitely put crystals in the house. You should feel the energy off of. But paint, you know, um, I'd say this. Hey, Marcus the Great, thank you for joining. The crystal thing really, um, my grandparents started getting into what they was thinking, not understanding truly our history, but knowing that the Indians were part of our history. They got to collecting stones and buying jewelry, buying turquoise, buying coral, like red coral that's very hard, almost impossible to get now. This is kind of what became their passion. Um, and so my grandmother got a stone polisher, and she got a stone polisher. And one year she gave everybody stones. And as they bought rings and bought different jewelry, they always had different crystals and stuff. And then when I graduated, my grandfather gave me, when I wear the fire agate, one very similar, maybe smaller. I'm knocking the table. Maybe one slightly smaller than that one. And that really started it. And it's funny, like our crystal research started with lightning crystal, and I still have never bought one. But I saw very quickly collecting them that I could feel what they had to offer. Yeah, I could feel what they had to offer. And again, when you take on energies, you don't take on the whole thing. You use the parts you want to use, because there's an opposite of everything. And so you have to be specific how you want to use magic, especially. As I said, this witch that seems to be obsessed with me sent some shit. It's like just some stupid shit. The bugs fuck with somebody else. I mean, it's just she was reckless with her magic because she is obsessed with me for some reason. But it's again sloppy magic. Sloppy. And she corrected it, but she was whatever mad she felt. I don't talk about her that often, but damn. But her magic was sloppy. And so that shows you the passion it was put in with it. It was just like fuck up everything over. So it's been the last like good 15 years. Really, always knew the power of the fire agate. So I guess that was the stone I worked with the longest because I've had like the ring I have now. I've probably had closer to 40 years going on now. I've had it in like the high 30s. I've had that ring for a very long time, and I knew the power of the fire agate and very protective power. So, yeah. And so it was natural. Again, I talk about the dude I buy the crystals from. He can't work with the crystals like that, but he knows their importance. He knows their value. He's an expert in telling the value of the stones. So it's another way that the stones can be used. So, and it's like he doesn't claim anything. He has people work with him that tell about it, that do work and have can feel the stones, but personally, he don't. It's funny watching this old dude trying to mac on girls and listening to his stories and shit. You know, motherfuckers be actors and like attention, and you know when they see that somebody's bending and listening to them, it's interesting watching dudes. But that's okay, you know. However you need to shine, I ain't hating on the way they shine. And so yeah, that's where it came from. That's where it came from. And so every day, some kind of crystal work. Carry if I go out. I mean, this time of year especially, you know, I always carry crystals this time of year. Shit, I got the big motivite on underneath here, too, and you know the gold chain. So I'm wearing it, you know. So it's all has purposeful. Yeah, it looks good, but it's also purposeful. You know, of the type of magic I like to do. And again, as I said with silver, silver is very valuable to wear because it makes anything that you wear, as far as even your clothes, it makes everything do what it's supposed to do to protect you. And that's the benefit of wearing silver. Many people don't talk at it like things that can affect you or things that can work with you from the quantum state. Because as much as we feel like we as much as we feel like everything, this is in a constant state of movement. It's a constant state of change. Like yesterday, I caught my, or was that today? I caught my hand. You know how they can do slow motion with your hand, and you can see how I caught my hand doing that shit. I like did this, and I saw multiple hands, like you know, like you take pictures. It was like click, 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 click. But I saw like the ghost of my hand moving down. I caught it. I was like doing like this, and I caught it. I kind of like caught the movement of my hand, and I watched that shit kind of ghost down. I saw like the ghost of the movement of my hand. And I'm like, wow, I am vibrating high. I caught that shit. I'm like, damn. So we can have influences like that. And I must have done a lot to vibe high. Things seem to be doable. You know, and manifesting, you know, you get to a point where things you have to assess, is this doable? Is this the best thing that will come to try to put things towards? That's all you can really do. It's like I come here trying to have 2 shows, you know, a day. And as some say, producing, trying to come up with material, especially a lot of times just on the fly, I put very little is a thing that takes up planning, definitely planning, but also this the confidence to have a lot to say or enough to say. Oh, and let me say this: I'm going to be having the Awakened one. I'm just laughing because we always have fun, but I'm going to have her on, and we'll see what kind of thing we'll put together. We'll see what kind of thing we put together. But she wants to come in because we talked about a little bit of everything. But she had asked me months ago, so I give her a head start because she gets nervous and everything. Planning is too much. I'm like, no, not today. We'll do it in a couple of days, or you know, whenever it works best for you. Because she gets nervous about the idea. But again, this is something like even when people call in on calling shows. Like one thing I learned when I would call in on Zach's show, I'd had like 2 or 3 pages worth of notes, and I would go through that shit like in 7 8 minutes. 3 pages full, and I would blister through that shit like seven. But that just taught me. It's like when you know to have written and really have a written topic down, you have to have quite a few. That's why you know the teleprompter because there's so much information that you go over and reminders. Because there are certain things, yes, you can say off the top of your head, but it's excellent when you can just see it right there. Because that's what I would need more of just little reminders. They wouldn't even have to put full sentences. I would just need reminders of the shit to talk about. That would be helpful. Have a little teleprompter. Say, talk about this old mug. And I think that this helps that too. You know, acuity, you know, coming off the top of your of just the top of thoughts, you know, being thoughtful and answering questions and then trying to show how magic applies. I think that helps in my own acuity. I look at my mother and just the way she works and still every day has to grind and still I think I've watched others stop sooner and it took them away quickly because it's almost like without the job there was no purpose. And I saw a lot of older people that their personalities were really their job. They were known through their jobs. I mean, imagine a military general. I mean, a military general's been at least a colonel for 30 years. So he's been called nothing for the past 30 years. He's been called nothing but colonel or general. Now, the way it's set up now, you go on these TV shows, they put former, of course, but not when you see regular people. You come from a world where everyone has to recognize you. And when you're a general, I mean, everybody. The only motherfucker that you look less to is the Joint Chiefs of Staff or the president. And of course, you have to answer to Congress, but I mean, far as orders, you're it. So if you talking about a system of a God system created, the military does that because they have supremes. Eisenhower was called what was he called? He was a supreme commander of the Allied forces. So wasn't he all over all of Europe that then conquered? Supreme commander? You listen to the names. He was over all of Europe. Once they became, American, went into the, and then again, you look at that. Hitler didn't have to declare war on America. So what? You was allied with Japan, but it made no sense. It made no sense for Hitler to declare war on America. It just didn't when he did. It just made no sense. He could have waited. There was no hurry to declare war on America. So definitely a mistake in history. And so often, teaching people how to be present, teaching people how to be aware. I mean, again, like when I talk about just self-defense and when you just get out of your car and you look at, I mean, this is things you should have been doing, being aware of your surroundings, male, female, no matter what age you are. You should have been doing this. And I, been checking people out. I still look at cars when I see problems with cars. And if I would give people tickets for following them, I still drive as I see mistakes. Notice things that people wouldn't really look for that I look for. I still do that. Smooth and mixed light skin. Goodness. Lakers will win it all. I don't think so. I think they got rid of it. Let's see though. I love how men say they are men. They don't have to be concerned for anyone. Anyone can be hurt. They are men. They don't have to be concerned. Oh yeah. It's like actually arrogance, a blind arrogance that you have to be self-aware. Now, of course, there's an age where you look like where nobody, but as you grow and you go older, or you travel with even your family, you have to look at yourself in certain situations as more vulnerable. And so you have to approach each of these scenarios differently. And so, you just always have to say, exactly, how to be watchful. Yeah. You should be, if you're young, you definitely got to practice that. Look at everybody, check out everybody, because everybody's checking out you. So you do the same thing. I make people look at me. I mean, I look at people. People don't really want to look at you. They feel like they open their soul up to you if you look at it. But, especially if you feel something negative, definitely like, don't look away like, oh, just ignore that thing. No, motherfucker, what? You know me? I mean, that's one of the best things. Just open up, especially around cash registers and shit. Do you know me? Why are you? Do you know me? It feels like women could use that, or someone weaker. You can just bust somebody out. Attract attention to that. And I know the response time and everything, but if the situation is right, you can always use that. The worst thing is witnesses sometimes. Sometimes. So. Wrong way? Is there a wrong way to use crystals? Not really. Not really. I mean, Magic is really your own thing. So it's whatever you resonate with. The type, if you ever go to a store, you order them. It's whatever you resonate. So it's like they even tell you with dealing with the tarot cards. There's really no wrong way to use them. It's how you can find a way to communicate or them to communicate through you. Or you can open up however they operate. You can open them up and see messages through them. Same thing with pendulums. I mean, it's energy that you're putting out as well. So it's whatever you feel. So no, there's not one way. And it's like when you read the crystal books, it's just possibilities. That's what the crystal books give you. All these crystal books, what I bring out, that's possibilities. And so you look at a list of possibilities and you hold the stone to see if one of those possibilities come. Now, some people could say, well, that pre-programs you. Not necessarily, because what you're reading words. You're not feeling the word. You're just reading the word. You're not feeling what the word corresponds to. So that's not trying to program something. They're saying this possibly could happen. And something greater could happen than all those things you read, or something slightly less. I mean, there's no guarantee. It's like I say, with breaking crystals, you can't really take that to heart, because if you're responsible and what you find out once you get so many, it's just, it can't be helped at times. So it's nothing that you can hold and say, well, since you broke the crystal. Now, I've had crystals that got broken and were negative, and I had to split them up and put them, didn't destroy them, but just split them up, took them and put them in two different directions. Because that crystal was upset that it got broke. So yes, there's, you can see if anything, like anything, if there's a negativity to the energy, take it away from you. If this motherfucking head back here, started, I would like, okay, motherfucker, you can go back in the closet. So you can chill out here with the rest of the shit, or your ass can go in a bag, in the closet, in 2 bags. And you can be like up in the bag. Or you can be out here chilling with everything, and shit, it might be some shit floating around where you can jump on the shit and be like, shit, I can get with that. So no, there's no way. There's no, I mean, magic. Certain types of magic, I'll say, you do have to be slow with. I mean, some of these people read this shit and think you try this shit and make you a circle, and yeah, it's not always that easy. I mean, it's like he told the dude, like, don't try to go back thousands of years. He's like, just go back a few seconds. Like, you get a few seconds, that can change the condition of something. That can change the condition just going back a few seconds. You don't have to use this energy to just zoom back forward and, no, Lucy like zoom. You ain't got to use it for that. Just little sparks. If you can just see little sparks on what you try, like the same thing, you get a crystal and just meditating, you should just do anyway. So really, everybody should practice the breathing and the meditating. That should be part of what you do. I mean, if you work out, definitely you should put a part where breathing and meditating is a part of it. Because that's all mental and spiritual, and being present and seeing if you can feel the wave of awareness. To see if you can quiet everything and then see what you start creating and you start tapping into. And these are easy things that we all can do, but you don't have to like use crystals or be into crystals to do that. You can just do that on your own. You don't need anything to do that, but just a quiet room and then quiet your mind. I mean, these things help. These things amplify. If you get to the point where you feel that you're ready for something to amplify that energy, I mean, of course, shit, diamonds can amplify. The crystals so can too, especially quartz. That's why quartz is the easiest for most people to just pick up and kind of connect to, because it's such an easy giving energy. It's almost everybody. When I worked at the fair, one thing I'll say is they had crystals and they put crystals near where everybody had to walk, and I didn't see one child turn away and not grab a crystal. Not to say they stole, but I'm just saying they walked directly to them. And so I looked at them putting them there. I was like, wow, that's kind of genius. They must have noticed that before too. But that's what I noticed. Not one child. Now, the parents a lot of times wouldn't buy them. A lot of times they would. but the children just automatically went to the Crystal, one after another, not hundreds, thousands. The Minnesota State Fair, it'd be shit. I couldn't tell you. The gates are crazy. The amount of money that they make at that fair in 3-4 days, shoot, to hit that little area of Bloomington, it's astronomical. Let me see. Yeah, everything. Yeah. The thing about um, mm, yeah, let me see if I caught up. Is there? Yeah. Did you lose a lot of friends once you got into Crystal's Deep? The funny thing is, my daughter's mother, she was saying, well, he didn't used to be like that, because it's like sometimes even finding myself and trying to explain where I'm at with people, it's hard for them to understand. And like even like now it gets where I talk to people, but I feel kind of already they're where their awareness is. And so as I say, we are a reflection of each other, and I try to deal with people as they're me. And so sometimes I have to put myself on that level of where they're at. And so I try to explain things on their level of them trying to understand it the best way. And a lot of times, it's even that's the way I try to explain it, the simplest of just how to communicate. It's kind of hard, and the way they interpret it. And so, and I am pretty. I mean, I do socialize, I do get out, but I'm by myself a lot of times. I mean, my son is here most of the time. My daughter, of course, the way I interact with her. But there's times where I'm just here, do things unless people, get in touch with me and they have some ideas and want to bounce off some things or business. I do those things, but I'm solitude a lot, and I don't mind my own company and my own thoughts, and like especially early evening. Now the days are getting a little longer. I tend to like to meditate early morning and then like first early evening. The room be dark and don't be quite dark outside yet. That seems to give me a lot of energy. So yeah, in some way, but the thing is, you have to be able to read your crowd. Like my best friend ain't really into this, and I don't push a lot of this on him. Any of it, I put where it applies. But I don't just talk to this about most folks. No, I hold it in. I can read the crowd. Whoops. Here we go. Why do you think that people don't care about scripted news and sports and that it's still real? I just think, but welcome SD. I just think that people still want heroes. People still want to believe in something. And so the culture is such a way taught that people are so indoctrinated by the news and the sports. Like Craig Facts had their dads on. And like one father went to Vietnam, one father didn't. Both their fathers is both about 6-7 years older than me. And what they both said is, and even the one that didn't go into Vietnam, what he said is, we grew up and we didn't mind fighting the Indians or going to fight the Nazis. He said we grew up with a mindset of John Wayne. Now you read several books about the Vietnam War, especially Blood. They say the same thing. Dudes grew up with that mentality. You wanted to go out and fight the Viet Cong and be like John Wayne. You just went places and you kicked ass and you took names. So, it's brainwashing, programming. Have you ever known someone that complained about being in the hood, but just move out into the suburbs and start acting like people in the hood that they well, you saw a little bit of that because like when they took out of they shut down the Taylor homes and all those homes off of 94 and then took all out of them people south. And some of them neighborhoods at first was pretty decent when they first moved out in that area. And that probably was Boys was babies, so like 2002, 3, maybe 2000, 98, 99, them years in there. And a lot of people moved in them south areas. Like when you like Midway, like taking that Midway to exit, I'm trying to think. You take it off 94 because you will hit that. And I think it's 14. Can't quite remember. But south area. And those people started, even though they were in different areas, started acting the same way, even though in different areas. Because I dated a woman out there. Yeah. And yeah, saw the same thing. Which region is the worst? You had to choose. Which religion? Well, really, I think the Christian church and the Catholic church are the most dishonest on what they believe in. I think they trick their believers. I don't think their believers are truly taught what they believe or what's at the bottom of it or everything. I think they're deceived the most. I think these people are deceived the most. Um, Islam teaches a suffrage of women as not equal, as not having powerful magic or powerful medicine. Again, most of they looked at they wizards. I don't think I ever heard a woman called a wizard. A jinn can be both, and that's again connected to the Muslim, the genies, the jinn. This is the type of energy that they tell you is their demons. So, I mean, all of it. Some of it, tells lot of this under the guise of religion. They claim histories that they've hijacked in some ways. And so, how can you really try to look into something that in itself was hijacked? You saw how it was hijacked. So to say one, they're all technically the same. They're all under Yadaboa, Marduk, Anili, whichever name it wants to call itself. It all comes from that. I still think Yadaboa and Marduk are the ones that benefited off the Mai, wherever that came from. It's technology that has been used, and it's like some people say that the technology of the military and others is 100 years. It's probably more than that. I would just say that the division between what the true power is almost dimensional. Really, it seems like they could do an overlap of this. And if you looked at some of those mythology movies, the way the gods looked at the chess pieces. Remember how they put the chess pieces, and that's how they move in. Um, Fight of the Gods or whatever that shit was called with the unicorn, the Pegasus and shit. Not the unicorn, but the Pegasus. That kind of shit. How they was looking at it. Well, can almost be looked at as that, as type of a dimensional kind of technology. Yeah, not natural. Something that they had to create. Ooh, should I say this? Ooh, I should say this. I should say this shit. Because I don't know if this really even. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say this shit. So the shit that's really can also be used, and there were a couple different generations of this shit. The shit that is going to be used. Well, maybe it's three ways to use it, but I'll explain what I was able to tell. So really, there are almost going to be types of I guess the best way I could explain it is modified elevators. Modified elevators that are almost going to act like transporters. Almost act like transporters. That definitely it appears like that exists. But the more modern of that is there's types of ways where you can take seats. So it ain't that, everybody got to stand there. No, this shit is you take seats. You'll see that motherfucker, that seat where these people sit like putting in a rock. And the next thing you know, that shit is gone. Like disappeared, gone. But it's the same technology, but it's just a more advanced technology, just happen to be in the elevator. But it's like that appears like that exists. So you don't need that spaceship, all that shit. They can just move through space time. They don't need those spaceships. The motherfuckers that need spaceships, that's the old shit. That they say Marduk needed to hollowed out motherfucking asteroids to attack planets because they just thought they was having an asteroid shower. They don't need that shit. That's old. I don't even know if he had the mind when he had to do that shit. This new shit, you don't need none of that shit. Shit in time, really, you guys want to understand where you are in time. Time is like you are in the center of that shit. I mean, you really are. You can put yourself in the center of time and it moves like this. I mean, if you can put yourself a couple seconds ahead, you definitely can put yourself a couple seconds behind, because if you have the power, you have both powers. It ain't like, well, that's the guy that can just really take you forward in time. Sometimes that ain't no good. If you get stuck and want to go back, you need to have the power and the ability to go back too. Because you'd be like, well, I can keep making us go forward, but damn, I really just need to go back to 3:30 yesterday. But I mean, that's the way that we can look at it. So keep in mind the machines. The machines is real. That shit's real. I'm like, damn, this shit is crazy that you can just sit in some shit and it disappears and takes people. And I don't mean kill, I mean takes people, moves people, people movers. Hmm. I always thought Farrakhan was controlled. Yeah, yeah. I mean, Malcolm was too, though. Malcolm, they was always under, nonprofit. I know people that like that. I call it, they moved out the hood just to be in the hood. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But Chicago was bad like that, because them South Side neighborhoods actually were a lot of people that, they was doing the predatory loans, but the houses was pretty cool. And, the people, again, put niggas in one spot. Motherfuckers used to live there, started moving out. And so, as they move people around, that's how they do it. That's how they move people around. I said, probably one of the best apartments in this city is all Somalians probably lived in there the last 10 years, 10 years plus, probably last 14, 15 years. Because they came here, 2000. Well, whenever the war, they were starting to get murked over there. They had to start bringing them over here. Because the person that the U.S. backed and then said, fuck it, let's just bring them over here. It'd be cheaper to bring them over here than to keep fighting these motherfuckers. Isn't that some shit? They'll just pull out, but the ones we backed, if we don't pull them out, I mean, I've said that before. Can you blame the people? Can you blame the people for going after those people? You got the U.S. fighting you and you able to kick the U.S. out, and they can't back these people enough. Can you blame the people? And the same thing kind of happened to Vietnam a little bit. They arrested the motherfuckers. Smooth-minded, light-skinned goodness. I could go back to 2016. I am going to be 25. I feel you. What do you think about depopulation, 500 million by 230? The Guidestones. We are given our leaders. Yep. The Guidestones, I mean, again, some type of predictive spell. I ain't going to say it was a program, it was a spell. And Brother Bomber put it brilliantly. Them Guidestones is down on that granite. I guess his brother, I guess that granite vein runs all the way down to Georgia, all the way through the multi-states, and goes all the way to New York. And that's why I know this area I live in is we sit on the same type of pink granite. There's pink granite everywhere. I mean, again, when they cut up the street, I've got nice big pieces I took. The biggest piece I've lazy and didn't get. But when I move out of here, there's a piece back here that's like this big that I'm taking. I'm getting them. I'm going to buy a wagon just to take this thing. And I'll dig that shit up and I'm going to put it on a wagon. I'm going to take it. This is a big old rock, but I'm going to take it. So we sit on that too. So that's why I look at where I'm at as a high vibration area. The Great Reset. Agenda giving, yeah. for 2030. Yeah, I can see that. The Great Reset. Yeah. I mean, again, all what we just did was a practice. Yes, they could very well depopulate, but it wouldn't be without belligerent response from citizens. Yeah, that's true. But I mean, they do it so, again, the shots, we don't know. We don't know the effect that the shot's going to have on people. I don't even, once it became a thing, there was no reason to talk against it anymore. It's just you hold your if you want to do it or not. So it's no reason to talk against it. Again, that's the feeding the same beast. The beast, that same beast wants some energy. So once people do it, it's just okay. We go from here. Where do we go from here? Because you did do this, okay. So we have to look at this. And a lot of this stuff is so new. And then what did they just say? Again, they want you to know shit. They said, what is it, 1,200 side effects? Again, they want you to know that. You see how they put this stuff out? They want you to stay in a state of fear. Yep. I don't have anything about Ukraine. World War III. Well, right now they blocked. They're not letting them. They're not sending them jets. At least not from America. This is the funny shit. America is not sending Stinger missiles. They're not sending jets over there, but all the javelins to fuck up the tanks and all the Stinger missiles that's taking down them jets, that comes from the United States. So it's, sanctions is definitely war shit. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't think it's going to lead to that. I mean, these motherfuckers always like war. It's business in war. All it does is change imaginary boundaries. So that's what Russia been trying to do. They're trying to regather back what they lost because of economics. The economics of trying to fight in Afghanistan broke the country. When you can take a fucking missile that costs $10,000-$15,000 and you can take $1 billion down piece of equipment, then Bear helicopters that they took down with Stinger missiles, that's what they say bankrupted and turned them into Russia again. That's what it did about fear. Yeah, exactly. So, that's why I go back into what I was saying is like every story ain't worth studying about. Every story you don't give life to. Everything they talk about, you might not don't even repeat that shit. Because that's what we do too often. You got all these Facebook scholars, these watch the news people scholars, and everything they see, they think it's worth repeating. And it's not worth repeating, it's not worth giving life to. Ignore some of this shit, because that's the best way to deal with the beast. What they say when a bear, if you around a bear and you just lay there like you dead, the fucking bear is supposed to go away. Don't be where bears are is the best way to get out of that. But the point is, let this shit die. Don't give it life. Don't be suckered into writing on shit on Facebook or Instagram, commenting on bullshit that's just looking to be vampired on, looking to bring you in, to stir your emotions. I mean, do you know the way they presented Pearl Harbor, not telling the embargo they put against the people and all the other shit they was doing, the sabotage they had been doing, and not saying all that, just saying Pearl Harbor invasion, and these motherfuckers joined by the thousands, by the millions, by the millions. I would run from the bear. Shit, bear's gonna fucking chase your ass down. You can't lay down. Yeah, I don't know. That DiCaprio movie and shit where the bear fucks him up. He shoots the motherfucking bear close range. It don't stop the bear. Don't be where bears are. Like when my boy was two, and my best friend's son, he had his. Damn, how old was his boy? Boy was young. He had one a few years older, and we walking on the trail, and he was like, "Yeah, just stay on the trail because there's alligators around here." And my boy is only 2. I'm looking at him like, "Well, why are we back here?" And his boy wasn't much older, like 4 or 5. I'm like, "Why are we back here?" He's like, "Shit, just stay on the trail." Like, man, these motherfuckers can snatch one of these children. Like, man, it'd be all right. Just stay on the trail. Just stay on the trail. Just stay on the trail. bear may be too hungry and just pick you up and eat. Yeah, yeah, he could. That's why they say, if you ever need a 44 Magnum, one of them big bullets, you can get the Desert Eagles shoot them 50 calibers. That would knock a bear down. But anything like a 357 or 40 caliber, I said I had to shoot a deer 3 times with a 40 caliber to kill it. The deer had jumped when I was a cop. The deer had jumped the fence, and the fence had cut it in two. Basically, the deer couldn't really stand up anymore because it was cut in two. And so I like put a couple of 40 calibers like right back of his head, and found the guy who wanted it. Shit, I got a call about 15, 20 minutes later. It's like, this goddamn deer, they ain't say that on the radio, but that's what the goddamn deer ain't dead. So I had to go back and shoot it again. And it was like, ooh. But it did that every time I shot it. But 40s, you know how the damage it did? But that's what they say with the bears or even cougar. You got to have something to drop that motherfucker. Yeah, the bear would want to eat your ass. That would be funny. Motherfucking bear eat your ass. There's a wild bear just knock a door down in someone's home with the locks and definitely. I say, don't be where bears are. Leave that shit for them. That shit ain't for us. Oh shit, I've been going this long. Well, I think I'm gonna cut it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me. Yeah. Got a little bit to say. Oh shit, it was so good. Cool nights like this where Super Slide do his thing and still can do my thing, and I appreciate that. Still get to do my thing. Yeah, because I don't pay attention to anybody else's thing. You do your thing and I'll do mine. But I talk shit about everybody. Don't take it personal. It's just comedy. Like when I call people a motherfucker, don't take that shit to heart. I don't call women bitches. I may mention something like that, but never like a bitch is just something like that. I try to stay away from that. Don't always do, I know. And I know, times I have a memory relapse or memory missing, story missing. I understand. I will look back and I say, I didn't tell the full details. So please forgive me in that matter, because sometimes I misspeak, but I try to do my best. And so we're going on day 6. The rest of the day, the color is going to be green, and it's Kimmy. It's the death card. Surrender, release, death, transmutation, forgiveness, humility, revelation, 6-sided crystal and roots, evergreen tree, moss. Organic balance is 6 is the number. The colors for is green. Valerian is the herb. Willow, gardenia is the color. The flower essence is gardenia. Sin is gardenia. I don't like gardenia. The stones, malachite, jade, emerald, diapostate, zoite, moss agate. The air element. Isn't that funny? The death card is an air element. And the direction is from the north. Your shadow wisdom, feeling the need to be in control, fear of death, depression, struggle and resistance, shadow transformation, surrender to the path of perfection. Listen to the part of you that is calling for death and transformation. Receive its wisdom, harmonic wisdom, serenity, mandra. Hold hands together under each cheek as if sleeping, then cross arms on chest while bowing. Finally, raise head and cross arms in front of the eyes. I am going to start doing the mantras, practicing with the people. Affirmation, I release, I let go, I surrender, I forgive. So why live with it? There's ways of separating for things. And you don't let it live anymore. Because too often we let old memories live. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll say this. My son, he loved as breaking down Batman again. My son said he loved the Penguin. He broke it down. He said he liked the Penguin of the best. He thought that the Penguin stole the scene every time, and I kind of agree. When the Penguin came in, he did kind of steal all the scenes. Even like the last scene where they're all on the balcony and they had him hemmed up. but he still took the scene. So that was that. I would agree with that. With my son said, still don't put it above a 8. Too much goddamn talking in that movie. Unnecessary talking. Okay, Mora. It all starts with a gentle sadness. They came from their original homeland. They knew that they had exact numbers of years and days before they would disappear off the earth as a culture and a lifestyle. But the civilization would build to a gentle love. They lived in the Creator's day and knew how to separate cycles in the great serpent. And to all my relations, to all my family, to all who listen, who all come upon this wisdom, but whoever this can touch and however this can touch. Again, I said, the word can move and remove, just like music, as George Clinton says. The vibrations that I do at the beginning, just a few minutes of that might be able to take something or add something to your day, and so I give that freely. And so, but the point of it is tones and sounds and colors. All these things have energies, and all these things have meaning. And so you want to use all this because this is simple magic. To put things around you is one of the easiest magics that you naturally are open to. Just placing things around you, whatever your favorite is. Once you have your own space, what you put around it, what you put in it is you, the extension of you. So no matter how big, no matter how small, that should be the extension of you. So everything in it should be helping to raise you, to making you feel better. Now these goddamn cats, I can't say they make me feel better. But it was interesting when I was going deep into meditation, I could hear the breathing of my cat was with the meditation. It was so interesting. She really felt it. And I couldn't really see where she was, but I know she was there because I felt it. And as we was moving, I could feel that she was there, but I couldn't look. It's like, damn, I feel her though. But so I really couldn't see her form or anything, but I just, through her breathing and the way everything was coming, I was like, oh shit, she's moving with me. So that's cool too. But just the cleaning up the little bitty turds and the way they piss and the piss smell and the hair, because they shed in this time of year and it gets to be a little much. So I tell them, you motherfuckers don't get any sick days. No sick days for you motherfuckers. Y'all better be healthy every day. So Dad's not a rich man. But as I said, however you come across this, each and every one of you that takes the time to check out my work, I appreciate it. And I try to come and bring it. It doesn't matter if it says 100 or 1, -2. I'm still going to bring it because this comes out of me. And so as I try to bring this inspiration, I hope you enjoy it. Because this has been the Chocolate Mountain Show, baby. Till we meet again, say less.